nothing exists except by way of he, she, the deities, the mother, father, creator, spirit. Bear with me, guys. That's better. It's much better. Yeah, who panete women no chayu kaula lolbi who. Pa istaf bat anuki fi pa ashuk shil kolom wakul ashuk kalunni. Anuki farugun shil kolom wakul kalun farugun ni shilni. Anuki wahed ka kolom wakul kalun wahed ka ni. Nuk aikilu anjihu kama farugun shil kolom wakub kama fariyudun. Nuk aikilu akwenu kuldak nuk akfuzi fi kolom kama tawul kama kafuzi kalun liya amidu fi kolom. Anuki kabaha wahud. Kulum kalun anuki, kulum yakul nuk aikilu, kulum dora nuk abmidu. Greetings, people. Let's go, man, because I'm going to try and keep it an hour. 2 minutes, as we normally do. See who tunes in. Nobody here yet. I'm sure they will be soon. Let's go. The mental minefield. That's what we're going to talk about. So let's wait until some people tune in. Shout out Celestial Samurai, Four Winds Productions. Up close and personal. This is very personal. A melody just to warm us in, man. It's always good to have a nice melody, warm us in, get us ready, give us a little background to the topic, you know, set the atmosphere kind of thing. Beautiful rhythm, man, beautiful beat. Shout out Celestial Samurai, Four Winds, Dragon Slayer Productions, yeah? This is what I think about when I think of Valhalla, yeah, Warrior Heaven. Like when I think about Valhalla, I hear this type of melody, definitely. I'll give you guys one more, yeah? Seeing as people is slow today, let's give you one more. Let me give you another good one. This is called High. Again, this is by Celestial Samurai, yeah? And after this, I'll start. Shout out to Melinda, Veggie Lover. Shout out to Stat. Shout out to Empress Lotus. Shout out to my own Kendake, Chanel. Shout out to Mahogany X. Yo, shout out to Troy. Shout out to Paper 555. Shout out to Brooklyn NYC. Shout out to Catherine. Shout out to Lars. Yeah. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to Vish. Both Vishes. Shout out to Sis. Lady Bob. Yeah, I think it's safe to start. Who will join, yeah? So Rahubat, whoever joins in on a late one. Guys, I want to speak about this Armageddon war that we speak about in the perspective of solutions. Like, because this consciousness war that we're in it comes now like a minefield. Like if you can picture a minefield, like you're walking through a region and there's landmines everywhere, You got to watch what you step on, because you could step on a landmine and blow yourself up. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with this mentalism, this consciousness war, this information war over narratives, I want you to picture a minefield, like an area full of landmines, and you don't know where the landmines are. So you're gonna have to have a special team, yeah, from yourself, a part of yourself that goes through the minefield of your mind, yeah, and starts disarming these landmines. You understand? There's certain forces and thoughts in your paradigms that can work against you and keep you locked in a certain kind of box. So that's why I've chose to call this particular live the minefield, the mental war. Okay. First, I want to speak about the art of war, which was written by Sun Tzu. A lot of his teachings were taken up by Machiavelli when he created his the stuff that Robert Greene used for his 48 Laws of Power. A lot of the stuff he was using was Machiavellian stuff, which Machiavelli was using a lot of Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Okay. And in the Art of War, which was a document that was written by some people, it was written by Sun Tzu, and this document deals with the rules of engagement when you're dealing with a war, how to strategize your war when you're fighting with the enemy. And the reason why I mentioned the Art of War is because when we're dealing with the minefield, the mental war, it's important to understand first and foremost, like I've said many times on many different lives, all wars are first won in the mind. They're won mentally first before you can win them in the physical world. You have to see the victory and achieve the victory in your mind. Okay? That was the first principle of the art of war that Sun Tzu wanted his readers, his students to understand when it comes to war. Okay? Also, he says in the art of war that you should never fight your enemy on territory that's familiar to them. So if you're fighting your enemy, you want to take them onto your battleground, a battleground that you're familiar with. Or if not, then you need to take them onto an unfamiliar battleground anyway, where it might not be your background that's familiar to you, but it's not familiar to your enemy either. So first and foremost, you don't want, the rule is you don't fight your enemy on a territory that's familiar to him, whether that's the land in his own region where he knows all the routes in his own land, he knows the terrain, he knows the resources that he have. You want to fight your enemy on an unfamiliar battleground, not on a familiar battleground. And the reason I say this is because as melanin people, we're still looking at this war from a physical standpoint. We don't understand. We can't really win this war just from a physical stance. We've never been about just physical war alone. I'm not saying the Kushite's not the mighty fighting machine that we are as the black man, because we are, but we never just fought physical wars. All our wars was a spiritual thing. When we're going into war, we called on our war gods, on our ancestral gods, because we seen it as a spiritual thing, a spiritual attack. Do you see what I'm saying? So I say that to say, we're in a position now where we need to understand our strength was the spiritual mental war. It was the weaponizing of our minds against them. Because remember, everything now is weaponized against us, including music. Music is something that's weaponized against us as a people. They spun it around. When music first broke, I'm talking about our black music like jazz, blues, soul, rap music. It always gets diluted into what it's not. It gets flipped on its head or perverted. Like we can use the case of hip hop music or rap with what we always talk about, fuck culture, that hoe over there culture, trap culture, where man's is trapped in this low negative vibration lifestyle of death. Yeah, that's weaponized against us. So now what we got to do is spin it back around, like how they spinned it from 432 hertz A minor and spun it into 440. I think it's still A minor. They spun it into 440. We need to spin it back on them. We need to understand the science. When we're producing records, we need to incorporate this into our production. You see what I'm saying? Everything we do in the world right now as melanin people is either for or against white supremacy. There's no middle ground. So all the actions and all the thoughts that you put into the either is either in support of white supremacy, white racism supremacy, or it's not supporting it. Like there's no middle ground. There's really no middle ground. It's one or the other. Yeah. Things like nationalism, when we're separating the black nation or the melanin nation into Americans, Black Britons, Nigerians, Shona people, Zulu people, and everybody's trying to be separate than the whole. You understand what I'm saying? That's a nationalism. You understand? And that supports white supremacy, because that divides us up into numbers where we're not on the same page no more. We're not pulling in the same direction or rowing in the same direction no more. So we going nowhere. And we don't understand that as long as we keep divided mentally, because we have to achieve a mental unity among us. Leave the black devil out of it. But we have to achieve a mental unity among us mentally before we can achieve a physical unity. So everything we do now is either for or against white supremacy racism. You understand what I'm saying? Us participating in Western politics, like getting involved in all this, Boris Johnson's gone now, we need a new leader, and we really invested in this. Like we want a better leader because Boris Johnson was this. We're looking at these individuals instead of looking at the whole entire system as, we need to throw the system away. It really doesn't matter who they bring. We've had this part of the discussion before. But what I'm saying is we can't be investing our attention or our actions in no Western politics no more. Yeah, we have to throw away the entire system, not just Boris Johnson or just a President Trump or whoever. The whole system supports white racism, supremacy, and the clutch of low vibrational evil that is keeping this we're trying to keep this world in the pits, you understand, in the muck and mire. So we have to cross out Western politics and stop operating in that political system, Western political democratic system entirely, okay, without incriminating ourselves, okay? And so that moves me on to, as I said, everything we do either supports or doesn't support white racism supremacy, yeah? Those that support white racism supremacy often don't support our own liberation. Like, they don't support the work I'm doing. They probably won't even watch it. They don't support the work other people like me are doing. They probably don't even watch it. They'll have something to say about it more time and have an emotional reaction or whatever. But the stuff they do supports white supremacy racism. It doesn't support the liberation of black people and melanated people worldwide throughout the diaspora, just to use that word, okay? So now, the people that don't support white racism supremacy, more time they support the kind of work that me and others are doing, because they don't support white racism supremacy. I'm going to break that down, exactly what I mean by that down for you guys, okay? So it's like, if I say this, we learn about Ma'at and how we're supposed to have a reciprocal relationship with everything in creation, whether it's the air, whether it's Gaia, Mother Earth, or Earth Mother, Mother Nature in the form of the animals and the fauna, with each other as human beings, as we have our interactions and stuff. There's a certain balance and a certain code of conduct, a way that we're supposed to carry ourselves upright and just, you understand, based on the laws, the 42 laws of Ma'at, okay, and the lifestyle of what Ma'at is, okay? So knowing that, we shouldn't be the kind of people that can, like, you see, like, if you're watching this video, according to how much you value what I'm giving you will determine what you're giving me, because it's reciprocal. When I say, if you're supporting white racism, you ain't supporting the liberation of melanated people and all suppressed people that are living under this system. You're keeping white racism in power. But if you are supporting your own liberation, then you're going to have no problem putting a like on a video or sharing a video or sharing a comment. It could be some words of encouragement that you're sharing with Jedefre or whoever else. It could be that, I'm going to share this video, and you're supporting in that way. It could be promoting it to your own circle. You understand? It could be, I'm going to watch this to the end, yeah? And you watch it to the end, whether you watch it all in one or you watch it in chunks. It could be, when I watch it, I'm really going to pay attention. Like, I could ask, are you taking notes? Do you come to these lives with a pad and a pen and say, I'm going to take notes because I value what I'm being told here? I'm putting the value on this shit. Because if you do, encouragement, financial support, maybe you say, I'm going to send my man some spiritual energy so that he's got a lot of spiritual energy coming his way. Because it might be, there's a lot of people that are watching his lives, that then they haven't got good intentions for him. They may be projecting some negative energy. So the way I'm going to help, I might not be able to afford one of his books or to buy his books, or I might not want to share it with my family or whatever. Let me support him this way. But if we really live in reciprocal and we fund in our own liberation, then we've got, just like I've got a responsibility with this information that I'm passing to you, I've got a responsibility that I'm passing you the right information, and I'm not confusing people, and I'm making it easy for people to digest and easy for them to look up and research for themselves. That's my responsibility to you. But so if you're a Ma'atian and you're dealing with reciprocity, then you also have a responsibility not only to me, but to all the people that are giving you something that you value. Like I said, if you value it, then it's going to show in your actions, whether you're watching, whether you're sharing, whether you're liking or commenting or giving words of encouragement or buying some books. You're going to support your own liberation, because you're going to see it as, yo, it's not only my liberation, it's my children's liberation and the community's liberation and the world's liberation. It's liberation. But you see, we're in a time where us black people, we don't want to fund our liberation. We just want to consume, and we expect the Mzungu to give us liberation. Like, we out here, reparations, we want reparations. Or if they say, okay, if you don't take the jokes, you can't play in the NBA. You Irvin, what's his name? Kyle Irvin or whatever. You can't play in the NBA or act in Hollywood or play in the NFL. We'll sit down and moan on the sidelines, and we want fair treatment, instead of saying, yo, we need our own NFL. We need our own music industry. We need our own structure. See, we don't want to fund our own liberation. We want somebody else to fund it. We want the Tamahu, the Mzungu, to fund it for us. A lot of us black people nowadays with the social media, it's turned us into consumers. We don't really value what we're being given by the real ones. There's so much snake oil out there, and it's become such a norm to just consume. We don't get it yet that, yo, in this mental war, we have to win in the mental plane. We have to win with our mind first. We really can't fight them in their kind of war, in this matrix war, like trying to take on Facebook or Instagram. And you understand what I'm saying? We're fighting a never-ending battle trying to do it that route, where really it's like, with your mind, we got to disengage and stop supporting our own downfall and start funding our own liberation. That means, whether you like it or not, you've got to enrich people like Jedefre. If you really value what Jedefre is doing and other people, and you want them to keep doing it, then you lot are going to have to fund, whether it's in encouragement, sharing, liking. You lot are going to have to blow us up and put that message out there in the mainstream. You understand? Because that's your responsibility as much as it's my responsibility, because we're supposed to be reciprocal. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of you, I'd ask you, what do you give back? When you're watching Dr. Mumbi, or you're watching Jedefre, or you're watching whoever you're watching, that's giving you what you're coming back for, what you think you're looking for. What do you give back to them? Do you support them? Do you send donations? Do you send a cash app? Do you buy the content that they're painstakingly putting their time into to write for you, or to speak for you, or to do a live for you, or to run a page where they're getting censored and they're getting shadow banned? Ask yourself that question. What do I give back to the people that are giving me light? Do I say, yo, let me go and ask, yo, do you need an administrator for your page so I can help you manage? Or do you understand what I'm saying? We're at a point where we have to ask ourselves that, because a lot of us are still based in the problems and the effects, and we don't want to fund our own liberation. We just want to obsess about all the problems instead of the solutions. Okay, so that's why I'm saying that. Ask yourself, what do I give back to not only Jedefre, but all the people that I look to and go and watch their lives, and what do I give back? And shout out to the people who already know who they are, who give back in many different ways that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, because that tells us, a Jedefre, or whoever else is doing these services, operating these services for you, that tells me who listens, yeah, and it also tells me who values what I'm doing. Shout out to Mahogany X for buying all the books the other day. I can't wait to send you all your books, just to know that you've got them, and boom, because I know what it means to you. You see, things like that, feedback, commenting, sharing, having a discussion, all that shit tells me who's just a consumer, and who's really trying to be reciprocal and trying to give me back, you understand, and give others back, whether it's like, whether it's comments, whether it's buying books, whether it's sharing their shit, whatever. We don't want to fund our liberation. Some of us don't even want to like. We can't even have the etiquette and courtesy to, when we come in, put a like on somebody's video. We just want to watch it and go, jump to the next thing, watch that and go, jump to the next thing. We don't care about the challenges or struggles that these people might be facing just to bring us this service. We're very ungrateful people. Do you understand? That's why I thought, let me put that into this live, the mental war, yeah? Because it's for real. A lot of you need to ask yourself, what do I give back? All this light that I'm getting and all these dot connectors and all this research that's been made easy for me to find myself, yo, do I value it? And if I do, what do I give back? Am I reciprocating? You understand? Because as I said, it tells me who listens and who values what I'm doing and what I'm saying and what I'm writing and the music, yeah, and who to prioritize. Because then it tells me, yo, this person gives me back. So I'm going to make sure that I give them extra. If they come and inquire of me somewhere, I'm going to give them back more because they giving me back. They're not just a consumer. Do you understand? So that's a real problem for black people and melanin people. We don't understand. We got to enrich our people. We got to enrich our speakers. We got to enrich our writers. We got to enrich our own singers. We got to enrich our own sports people. We got to enrich our own women and help them set up their own businesses and their own hair shops and their own food industry. We got to take back control of us. We still looking at some nuclear, physical, dense war because a lot of us are stuck in matter and too dense. We're not vibrating high enough to see through this shit. You understand what I'm saying? We have to enrich and fund our own liberation by empowering people like Jedefre and other people that are out here on the front line, because that's empowering you. Jedefre and other people are out here empowering you. So if you ain't empowering them, you can talk all the matter you want, but you really just talking out your ass because you ain't funding no one. If you ain't trying to fund the Grandmaster J and help him find liberation and what, you're not funding your liberation. You're probably funding white supremacy, even subtly. Most black people still want to talk about problems and find fault in everybody that's actually trying their best. And none of us are perfect. But a man or a woman that's trying, yo, that's good enough. We're supposed to be celebrating them and helping them, not finding faults and trying to shoot the messenger. We're supposed to be supporting them. Because every day we support the Tamahu and the Chinese and the Indian man and every fucker else without a thought. We go and spend our money. We don't care. We just spend it. These people don't even fucking like us. They look at you like a piece of trash, and we have no problem with spending off all our money and enriching them. But we have a problem, yo, I don't like him because he's Hebrew, or she's Muslim, or this is... We're making up all these excuses and not funding ourselves. And then we wonder, how come we're never finding this unity or never moving from where we are? We don't want to empower ourselves. We don't want to empower the next man. We don't want to sit down here and speak about solutions. Everybody want to speak about problems. Yeah? And you'll find that that's the speculative people. They're not really providing a service for no one. They don't even want to reciprocate and give back to the people who are giving them light and giving them, they don't even want to give back. They just want to talk about solutions and find faults. You understand what I'm saying? They're waiting for a fault so they can come and troll you and rip you and put down negative questions to try and embarrass you and stuff. They don't understand they are part of the problem. And we've got to talk about this kind of shit. You understand? We need a structure in our communities among us as an entity, as a people. We need a financial, we should have our own central bank, the central bank of black folk. So if you had a good idea, you can go, yo, I need 50,000 to start up my farm. What's your business plan? Show us your business plan. Okay, this is not good enough. Okay, this one's good enough. Here, bam, here's your 50,000. Pay us back as soon as you start here. We need that shit for us. Everybody got that shit for them. Asian folk, Chinese folk, whoever the fuck folk, they got that shit for them. They got Chinatown and all that shit. We ain't got fuck all. We ain't got Moorish town. We don't have Israelite town. We don't have no Egypt town. We don't have fuck all. But something to say about everybody else except yourself, you know? So this is the minefield that I'm talking about. Your mind is full of landmines that has been planted there by school, religion, politics, media, Hollywood, peer pressure, friends, fear, expectations. You understand what I'm saying? Miseducation. There's all kind of landmines that if you're not careful in your own mind, you'll step on a landmine and blow yourself up. Yeah, we need a financial structure. We need an educational structure. We need to take control of our own education. We still expect Mzungu to educate us. We want them to teach about black people in their curriculum. I don't know how mad people are to think that they're going to say, you know, one day, let's just teach black people the truth. You understand? They're only ever going to give you enough to keep you in line, to make you satisfied. They're never going to give you the full to empower you. We got to do that for ourselves. Not only do we need a financial structure, we need an educational structure. We need to be employing people like Jedefre to teach our children certain things, whether you like that he swears or not. People like him have the jewels that we can give to our children so that their mind is fortified from all of this fuckery, the minefield that they're creating for us and our children. You understand? We need an educational structure. We need our own sports. So all this racism in sports, whether it's boxing or it's the UFC, we should have our own boxing. We should have our own fucking UFC. We shouldn't be relying on all these old dinosaur-looking white man. Oh, he's my promoter, Bob Arum. He controls my promoting. He can block me from being undisputed. And yo, when are we gonna stop moaning as black men and create our own shit? We're capable of the shit. We need our own entertainment industry. People that are into their acting and they singing and all of that stuff there, film industry, we need our own shit. Nigeria, shout out to them. They got their own Nollywood or whatever they call it. They film their own film. They make more films than Hollywood. You might think they're shit, but at least they're in control of their own fucking narrative. Us black people out here in the West, we still lost. We still the lost children of Babylon. Because we trying to be in this dense war. We trying to fight down here on the 3rd D. We don't understand. We have to fight them on the mental plane. The plane of causation, not down here and just be an effect and try and change. You can't change nothing down here. You're just an effect if your mind's just based down here in 3D. So we need our own financial structure, our own educational structure. We need our own fucking sports system. We need our own entertainment. We need our own fucking law system, because Muslims, they can say in their country, yo, we fucking with Sharia. So we got our own law. Jews got their own fucking law, kosher law. What about us? We still out here following the fucking law, paying parking tickets and can't even get straight with the common law. Never mind the real shit. So we got work to do. We sit down here and put ourselves on pedestals. Yeah, we're winning the war and rare. Nigga, we got shit to do. The war's going on inside of you. Fuck what's going on CNN or on the news. So we need all that. And that leads to, and that goes to one term. We need ownership of our own shit. I own my fucking books, TZT. I own that shit. I own the fucking publishing group. So I don't have to rely on nobody. I might need to look printers and stuff where I pay them print this shit for me, but it don't matter. I own that shit. It's not Penguin Publishing or some other fucker, Macmillan or whoever else that want to come and censor and tell you how to and when to and what to. Nah. We got to own our own shit. We got to own our own financial industry. We got to own our own education, entertainment, all of that fucking shit. Film industry, clothing industry, hair industry, food industry. We can't be out here just relying on every fucker else, because it's about to get peaked. The shit's about to hit the fan, man. We need to be growing our own food and shit. Shout out to all the people who grow their own food. We need to be homeschooling or setting up a community schools in our communities that's run by us, and it's down to us, because they trying to pass laws now, man, that you can't even homeschool your children no more. Do you understand how deep that is? They coming for us from all fucking angles. So right now we're gonna have to cover all bases. We have to own our own shit and support black business, whether we like it or not. We have to get into the group economics and start getting back to community. A lot of us, we move out of our own communities, and it's not our fault, because we hardly have any communities anymore. The communities we have is run by drugs and violence, and our youth is going into roadman life and shit. It's no way for us to live. But we need to start forming our own communities again, because community is very fucking important. And if we want to put together and structurize and plan, plot, strategize, having our own financial and having our own educational shit, we got to start coming back together. Nobody even want to live with each other or next door to each other no more. We find living next door Arab or Muzungu or whoever else, we moving out. Do you understand? So unless we got a solution that can come and counteract this road life thing and another teaching and another culture to replace this culture that we've been given and come back together in the community, none of this is really going to happen. And this is, I'm going to give you 3 words right now as to how they've locked us. They give us the false word. I was talking to my daughter about this. They give us the false word, independence. Yeah? Independence means you're in dependence. We are still in independence, meaning we're dependent on the fucking government or on religion, on some Muslim authority or on some Christian authority. Everything must be passed through Muzungu, because we don't own shit. We don't even own our own information. You understand what I'm saying? So we're independent. They convinced you that you're free. that you're not a slave no more. They abolished slavery and they made everybody free. That's a lie. Slavery's still going on. But they convinced you by giving you the word independent. So you really think you're independent. And when you really scrutinize the word, hold on, I'm independent. And that's why no niggas don't grow food no more. You go to the Tesco or the Walmart or whatever to buy shit in cans and plastic bags and shit. When we got all this earth out here where we should be making industries that are growing our own food. And then we're complaining about the type of food we're getting, GMOs, and they putting blood in food. When are we gonna start moving and becoming operative, man? You understand? If I could do it all, I fucking would. I'll do these lives, then go and till up some ground, grow food, then go write books, then go write music. But we have to get in where we fit in. We can't do it all. We need this community. We need the strength for numbers. And this is what the Mzungu knows. So he keeps us locked in this nationalism because that supports white supremacy. Yeah, so we're going to have to start supporting black business and coming with the group economics and demanding that we be housed near, we wanting to be housed near our own people and our own families, soul families and that, and forming our own communities. And they give us this false word independence. We need to break that down for our children to make them know we don't need to be dependent on the system or the government or none of that shit, because it just breeds codependence. Yeah, the real word that we should be focused on is interdependence, because that's my art. We are interdependent on all things, are independent on all things. You're dependent on the soil is dependent on you. Do you understand? I'm dependent on you, you dependent on me. We live in for and by each other in an interdependent relationship with Mother Nature and everything else, back to the connection with the source. Not being dependent on the government and in his formation. They're giving you information. It's his formation. You understand? So don't fall for that independent shit. The world are economic slaves. Everybody's economic slaves. That's why you're a slave in your job. And to get the gist of this, you have to be vibrating at a certain density. You can't be on a low vibration. If you are, then I'll just be chatting shit. That's why ain't much people watching, because a lot of people are fake, woke. They're acting like they're woke, but they're really not vibrating that high. You understand? They're just jittering. The ones that are vibrating high are finding that they have to put purpose before pleasure, whether they like it or not. It's not about sensuousness, looking for the next event all the time, or the next fix, or the next stimulation. What's the next concert? When's the next dance? It's a sensuousness. That shit there is like the devil. You understand? I'm not saying you can't enjoy stuff, but you need to moderate how much you indulge yourself in these fucking, clubbing, going clubbing all the time, always going somewhere, which is leading to nowhere. You understand? The things that you do, make it progressive, so that you're putting your energy into something that's going to move you progressively in your soul growth to the next stage, or your fulfillment of your ambition of what you want to do. Do you understand? Because energy is something that you use. Don't just burn yourself out and allow yourself to be burnt out by being too sensuous. You're just always looking for the next fix, cheap thrills. You understand? Put purpose before pleasure. Yeah? Deny fast money. Yeah? Fast sex and fast money and all that shit. Yeah? Develop a bigger skin, a thicker skin. Don't think every day is for fun, because that's how the devils, the Luciferians, they trick us with that. They think we're here to have, you're not here on earth to have fun. Every day is not meant to be fun and shit that you like. All the food that you eat, you're not meant to like how it tastes. You're eating it for a reason. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's the same with life. It's not every day you're supposed to be having fun, or every weekend you're supposed to be having fun on this sensuous kind of overstimulated operative mind business. Let your subjective mind take control and tame all that desire with your will, because will directs the thought, and the thought makes your vibration. You see what I'm saying? That'll make you susceptible to certain things or not. And when you live purpose before pleasure, like I was saying to Vish, shout out to Vish, yeah, that gives you meaning, because life really don't have no meaning. The meaning of life is what you give it. You give meaning to life, yeah? Nature has a meaning, and it has a nature. Nature has its own nature, and it has a meaning. But from you get here on this side of the atom, you have to give life its meaning. And you do that by finding your purpose. You give life its meaning. Life don't just have a meaning when you're born. You give life the meaning. And that comes by finding your purpose and putting it before your pledges. And it's not for the weak-hearted. It's not for everyone. Everyone will be living like that right now. It's for the strong who can see through this illusion. Those people who have got substance. Do you understand? So I want to break down quickly for you guys, because I'm not going to draw too long on this topic. I just wanted to put it out. I know it probably won't be popular, but it needed to be out there. Yeah, because all these lives, these are bricks that I'm using to build a spiritual temple. So if I got 259 videos on my YouTube, that's 259 bricks that I've took from stone, shaped them bricks into refined bricks, and started building my father Anu's temple around me, which is a spiritual temple, which is my fortress. You understand? So I had to put this brick in there. Purpose before pleasure, man. And so when we're speaking about ascension and being in a prison planet, okay, you see like how Saturn has rings around it, and it has many rings around Saturn, yeah? Other planets have rings too, like Uranus, we spoke about that. But I didn't mention how even the Earth has 7 rings around it, or 7 veils, yeah? What the Bible calls seals. So it's to do with the atmosphere, stratosphere, thermosphere, magnetosphere, and all these different 7 spheres, which is like the rings of Saturn, it actually go around the Earth, but we can't see, our seeing is not broad enough. Them rings are vibrating at a higher density than 3D. So to us, they're invisible. But the closest one to Earth runs right through the Earth. Now listen to this. When we die in this prison system, this Saturn moon matrix, the way it's been set up, your soul goes to one of them 7 rings. Your soul and your consciousness goes to one of them 7 rings and dwells there between incarnations. Yeah? And it may take you 500 years to get another body so you can be born on Earth again and have another try at escaping this matrix. The people who are progressing, vibrating higher, they might only take 100 years between incarnations. The people who are furthest from ascending, it might take them 500 years to get another body. Now, the people, when you die, the people who never vibrated that high, they only go to the first ring. Their soul only goes to the first ring. The people that were vibrating, like the people who nearly made it out this bitch, their soul might go to the 7th ring, the furthest away from the earth. So they might only take 100 years to come back. Yo, you're nearly there, 100 years, come back and try again. Yeah, and listen to this. The eternal you is your subjective mind, the mind that don't speak in words. You see when I say, okay, watch your thoughts, and you watch your thoughts, and then you realize, okay, so I'm not my thoughts. The thoughts is the me. That's the feminine side of the mind, but that's the me. It has a male and a feminine side, but that's the me. The subjective side, which also has a feminine and masculine side, that's the subjective side, which means that's the evil side of you. That's the side of you that goes back to one of them rings and takes all these experiences with you. But every time you incarnate, you have an objective mind. And every time you incarnate, you have the exact same objective mind that you have now. So if you don't conquer your mind now, when you come back, you have this same objective mind with the same addictions, the same problems, the same everything. Like you and your objective mind are tied together forever. You understand? And you will be here until you conquer your objective mind with your subjective mind and become a master, and now you can ascend because you're vibrating high enough. Do you understand? So when I talk about the Saturn moon matrix, which is run by Saturn and the moon, which is putting these 7 rings around the fucking planet, yeah, when you get to Revelation, I should have found it for you, but you can find it for yourself. Where the chapter where it says, and no one was worthy to open the 7th seal, except for this angel who appeared with the 7 candle lampstand and the 7 stars in his hand. So an angel came in the last days, and he was the only one worthy to expose and bust these 7 seals and remove the 7 seals. You hear Rastas speak about it, you hear Christians speak about it, because it's in the Bible. So this character is called in the Bible Malachi, Melchizedek, Michael. It's an angel who comes down here and busts these 7th seal. Now we know as Dr. York students, when Dr. York came down here, the first thing he really wanted to do was retranslate all these 7 scriptures, which is linked to busting these 7 seals, or these 7 vibrations that keep us locked in this 10%, in this 10% of our brain, 10% thinking, or 10%ers, yeah? So we can't ascend. Most people, I say, can't ascend because of this setup. Yeah, it's only the most strong who bust through this thing, because there are people who still bust through this thing and ascend. But I'm saying back in the day, it used to be groups of people ascending. Yo, it's easy, it's an easy thing. Now it's a hard thing where only the people who make themselves masters and stuff have a chance of ascending. You understand? On the current carnation that they're on. So now, when Dr. York came and retranslated all them scriptures and did the 30 years of teaching us about this, the science of the gods, the Nuwabu, that bust the seventh seals. Do you understand? And so now is the best time where groups of us can ascend. That's leading to this great awakening and this fucking ascension or age of Aquarius, whatever you want to call it. So I just thought I'd mention that there because, like I said, when you come back, yeah, let's say it took you 200 years to get another body, another avatar, yeah, and you come back to fucking Earth, you're gonna have the same objective mind. And your objective mind is the one that's always chattering, yeah, that's always wandering and flickering from different, because it's here to experience. That's what we use to have the sensation of smell and sight and all of the stuff that makes us human is part of our physical avatar, which is part of the technology for us to project ourselves here and be able to have this real, what we call real physical experience. Yeah. So that's why it's so important for you to separate your subjective mind from your objective mind. And as I say, as a hermetist, your objective mind speaks in words. Your subjective mind, the real you, speaks in convictions, feelings, images. You don't use words. So if anytime you react quick and you hear words, that's your objective mind. That's definitely not your subjective mind. So you shouldn't follow that straight away. Just sit back for a while and let that chatter go. And then when you come into the feeling, you'll determine to whether, okay, now you understand whether it's the subjective or the objective, but you've got to discern between the both, because 90% of humans don't even know this information that we're speaking about. They don't even know they've got a dual mind. Do you understand? And that it works in two. You understand? They think they're just one person. When they say I am, they think that's one. The I, yeah, is your subjective. The am, that's your objective, yeah? And you have to merge both of them or both lobes, yeah? Yes, ascension. Yeah, the rings. Yeah, all animals, when they die, they only go to the first ring. So their consciousness only goes to the first ring. Yeah, like, and people who vibrate low, that means they're on an animal consciousness, a beast man thing. They haven't conquered their lower self or their animal nature, so they still part of the animal kingdom. They think that they were supposed to stay as a human. They didn't understand that you're supposed to master your animal nature and evolve into godhood, where you vibrate so high that this matrix can't even hold you no more. You now become a god, a deity, and you vibrate out this bitch. Like, we don't understand that. We want to be down here praying and groveling to some mystical god, not knowing that this is probably some reptilian that's keeping your ass trapped here. I don't care what you want to call him, Yahweh, Allah, fucking... Yeah, so how you can help yourself ascend is, like I said, like talking about the 7 rings that go around the earth and how your consciousness goes to one of them rings and stuff. You can, if you study your life path and your birth chart and study how the cosmos was when you were born, or you know what I'm talking about, all that star language shit, astronomy, solar biology, even astrology, abjad, yeah, they're the kind of like roadmaps to yourself. They give you eyes into why you act the way you do and why you like certain things and why you don't like certain things. All of that is to do with your subjective self and your past incarnations. The experiences you had before make you feel a certain way. When you come back into the experience in this incarnation, either you like it or you don't. That's a remembering. You remember, so, oh, I don't like walking down dark alleys, you know. You probably had a bad experience in a past incarnation walking down a dark alley. So now that past incarnation comes and reminds you, you know what, don't walk down that dark alley, you know. You get a feeling against it. You should follow them feelings, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, life path, birth chart, star language like astronomy, solar biology, astrology, and even, what do they call it again? Where they read the numbers, and they read the numbers and say people are going to die in that. You know what I'm talking about? In our language, we call it abjad. Yeah? That's the kind of stuff that will really show you about yourself and your purpose here. And as I said to my own missus, I said, listen, to find your purpose, you only got to go back to childhood and just think about, yo, what did I just love to do when I was a child? I love to do it, and it was easy. And when I done it, I was just in my elements. If you go back to your childhood, that's how easy it is to find your purpose. You go to school, and they probably convince you that's not really something you can make a job out of. So now the more you're in school, you start forgetting about what really used to make you tick. Yeah, because that's from your past life. Like, it's like me writing books, and I didn't mention this is the book that I recommend, the recommended read I have now. The Tutankhamun Prophecies by Maurice Cotterell. Very fantastic book. He wrote the main prophecies. He wrote There Is the Super Gods. He wrote about the terracotta Chinese army. I got all his books, yeah, because he's so brilliant. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of that stuff will show you more about your own being, because you must read your own self like a book to understand your own minefield. Because this same minefield full of landmines that I'm telling you, some of these landmines come from past incarnations. There's certain things you didn't even conquer in the last incarnation that now you come here, life bring you back around to them same set of circumstances that you chose to face again, because you actually chose, let me have another go at this shit. You might have made yourself poor, or you might have made yourself have an addiction, or have a temptation, or live in a certain place and be in a certain family or around a certain people. You made them challenges. Even children that you see dying and people that you see starving, they actually chose that to try and beat that shit. They chose that shit. It's for real. Yeah. Now, going on to what I said about this being a minefield and we're in a mental war, we got to understand as melanin people, as I mentioned it earlier, we can't win the war on the third density, vibrating on a third density or 3D. That's where the white man is master, because he vibrating on that free ether, that ghost ether. So he's the ultimate killing machine. He's got the bloodlust. He don't have no empathy. He'll make nuclear weapon and weapon of mass destruction. You can't match him there. But we still trying to think of fighting him in a physical sense, when really we're supposed to be vibrating back up to the mental plane, because on the mental plane we're the master. We got the technology of consciousness. We are the alchemists. We are the hermetists. I might just think your ass away so you don't even exist no more. Do you understand? But they took that power away from us and got us locked in this third dimension of effects. We're not the cause, even though down here has causes for certain things, because every cause has an effect and every effect has a cause. Really, the planes of causation are the planes that are higher than this plane. Do you understand? So in order for us to win this war against the Mzungu, we got to get off of his vibration and frequency and go back to our frequency to get the upper hand for the tide to turn. It's happening slowly, but the more people speak about it and put this on the agenda, like I'm doing now, is the faster we're going to get there. Sorry, let me go for a shirt, yeah, because I feel like I'm not a Mzungu. I'm here freezer. I've got the sun gone, but I'll be back 1 minute. Yeah, sorry, I needed to get a t-shirt, man. Out here, the sun's gone, so the temperature just dropped on, man. Do you see me? Yeah, where was I? Anyway, a lot of people think that like just watching videos, YouTube videos, TikTok, Instagram clips, like they think that's gonna be enough when the Anunnaki come. The Anunnaki are only going to remember the people who actually practiced. They put that study into practice. So it became theirs. It wasn't just in books no more, or it wasn't just a Jed Efre video. It was yours. You actualized that God. You actualized that God in you. That God in you that overpowered that animal nature, and you applied it, because knowledge is not power. It's only power if you apply it and you make it yours and you actualize that God. Do you understand? That's what the Anunnaki are looking to. They coming for them. They ain't coming for no one else who just want to say, okay, what did you do? Well, I watched a whole heap of lives, you know. I watched all your effort. Yeah, but what did you do with it? What did it do for you? You understand? And that's why I say you can only meet people as far as they've met themselves. Yeah, because you got operative people who are going to put some kind of shit into operation, whether it's making clothes, whether it's starting their own business, saying, yo, let me start my own hair business for black women. You understand what I'm saying? Shout out to Stabanas. Yeah, we need that right now, because we dying out here. This government ain't looking to provide no food for you. They ain't looking to provide no finance. They already telling you you ain't going to own shit. So if you don't take charge of your, okay, what kind of structure can I have around me? Is there people who are willing to team up with me? I've got to find my vibration. The people who are vibrating like me, so we can form a community. So the strength in numbers, we can survive what's about to come. Nobody's gonna survive this in their house, thinking I'm just gonna shut the windows or board up my windows and stay in my house on myself because I've got food stacked up. No, we're social creatures. No man is an island. We're gonna need each other. Okay? So we have to understand we can only fight this demiurge by meeting it on the fourth dimension, because it's not Muzungu or nobody else running this shit from down here. This whole scam is being run from the fourth dimension, the mental plane, the plane where mind and matter meet, where you can now take charge and be a cause and start causing different effects. Because like I said, every cause has an effect and every effect has a cause based on causation. Okay? We have to get back up on the mental plane. That's where the war's fought, where everything swung in our favor. Okay? And it's our responsibility to do this, because we at war. It's our responsibility for ourselves. It's our responsibility for the Most High. It's our responsibility for our children and our bloodline and our ancestors. It's our response ability. Do you have the ability to respond or not? Are you just going to sit at home and watch a bunch of lives and hoard up a whole bunch of stuff on your head where, yo, you're not really doing nothing with it? Or are you really going to respond? Have you got the ability to respond to your responsibility? Okay? If you don't, you better develop it quick, because time's running out on you. Okay? It's our duty to do this, especially as men, as Medjay. It's our duty to want to protect our family. You understand? To want to prosper them and give them a good standard of living and a better standard of living for our children, a better earth for them to inherit, to get them through this tribulation or this Agenda 2030. It's our duty, it's our responsibility. You understand? And that goes to gender roles with the same minefield thing. They're running game on us now, trying to blur the genders. They don't even want people to call women mothers no more, because they're trying to bring in this gender fluid bender thing. You understand? They want you to just call, oh, the earth parent. This is one of my earth parents. Like, it's all mad. Yeah, but they running they having this attack on gender for so long, it's in overdrive right now. But for us, yeah, when it comes to my art, then there's certain responsibilities and duties for gender roles. Like, let's say for a male, and I'm not saying I'm perfectly right here, but I'm just giving you examples. Like, say for the male, it's our responsibility to multiply our nation, to make sure our nation is carrying on by fertilizing. So that means it's in Bible terms being fruitful and multiplying, and also caring for them seeds that we put as a duty of care, caring for their mental, for their spiritual, for their physical, for their well-being, to provide stability, protection, security, as I said, a nice standard of life, a nice environment, to enforce my art through his missus, through the woman, who is kind of like the matriarch in the home, and so her stuff, her views, her logic must be enforced, and so the man must be the enforcer of this ma'at, yeah, and to comfort and to stimulate, yeah, and to stick to moral conduct, you understand, and to pass down, yeah, so teachings and traditions from the family bloodline and stuff, values, morals, conduct is passed down. Do you understand what I'm saying? To the next generation. Sorry, I keep dipping to read the paper. I might as well hold it now. To teach life skills, to lead by example, take the lead, to demonstrate. You understand? To allow his family to feel confident, to go forth without fear of attack, or you understand what I'm saying? To make them feel comfortable is a male's duty and his responsibility. Also to love, to value, to listen. Do you understand what I'm saying? I could say for the female, it's etiquette. To have a certain etiquette and to teach the children etiquette, being that she's the first school or the first teaching for the children. She's the first god, the goddess. Yeah, teaching them self-identity and care, self-care. Teaching them on a spiritual, a physical and a mental level of things, the way things are in the world. To make a home, to be receptive to the love and the guidance the husband's trying to add to the equation. To look up to being a housewife, not look down on it. Like they're giving us all these false industries and false jobs, and a lot of women are looked down on being a housewife, yeah. And to show empathy and to show the children how for them to learn empathy, value, attention, direction, problem solving. You understand what I'm saying? When it comes to the household, I'm talking about. You understand? And together, certain things the man and the woman do together. But gender roles definitely play into this mind war, and what they're running through MK Ultra since the 70s, where it's a war of narratives, of culture, of a collective consciousness. Like we've said in other lives, whoever runs the narrative or controls the collective consciousness controls the way the world thinks on the flick of a switch with their mass media and stuff. And like I said, how we have to weaponize our minds back against them, back against white racism supremacy. All of their shit in MK Ultra for the last how many 100 years, 500 years or whatever, is weaponized against us more and more so coming up to modern times. Weaponized music, weaponized media, weaponized news, weaponized papers, weaponized radio, weaponized cartoons. Everything's weaponized against us and our soul consciousness, okay? By using a frequency war, a certain set of vibrations. Like take for example, Prodigy, who died from Mobb Deep. Remember they bought out an album called Murder Music. Murder Music. It's telling you, they telling you what they was doing. They encouraging the black people to murder each other, the black brothers to murder each other. And he ended up dead. And I'd say murdered because they killed him. He didn't just die from choking on no egg. But I'm saying that's the type of vibration that the music is weaponized for. You can see more and more so now in modern times. That was a few years ago with Prodigy. Look how much rappers have died since and how it's increased in its pace. But us as mothers and fathers, and as brothers and sisters and as human beings, we have to be able-bodied, able-minded. You understand? Not just able-bodied, where we're just only concerned with going to the gym and how we look. And not just able-minded, where we're just reading books and we ain't concerned with staying fit and staying in shape and having a routine and bringing ourselves to its peak. We should be ashamed of ourselves as black men and women if we've never taken on training of some form to get our body and our mind into its penultimate shape. If we've never done that, we can't expect to be ascending nowhere. We're wasting bare time down here. Yeah, and that's why I say, just to mention it again, Ragnar Memnon is weaponizing his music back against the industry. I'm not down for no industry. I'm a sound bender, because I feel like the real musicians were the people who could bend sound and use it as a weapon against evil. And one of the best ways we can fight this war, like I said, it's a mental thing, is through the medium of music. But you won't find a lot of rappers that's willing to do what Ragnar does, speak about the topics he does, because they're just going to sound like preachers. They don't understand you don't have to be a goody two-shoot. You don't have to be no soft nigger to be spiritual. You can still be militant and still have a strong message in your music, whether people see it as positive or not. It's needed. It's relevant. Do you understand? It's mine. Yeah? So my shit's weaponized against the music industry and all the rappers who support that shit. Yeah? As a sonic war. And don't get it twisted, I don't mean just making little YouTube clips and that. It's just that I've not been ready to invest in the way I need to invest to pop this shit how I want to pop it. So I'm willing to sit on my shit until I am. And that would be very soon, okay? A lot of these musicians, rappers, I'm talking about our brothers and sisters, they are selling their soul to hang around rich Mzungu people, the rich billionaire Caucasians and stuff. All these rappers are breaking their necks to hang around these guys and feed them and all this gay looking funny shit. You understand? There's a lot going on in the music industry. They want, if you can say, yo, I'm friends with this white billionaire, that's like a bragging point that these rappers have now. Yo, it's terrible what's going on, what they're selling their soul for the love of money and the lack of wisdom. Our people are suffering, man. Yeah, landmines, yeah, the stuff that you've got in your mental that you need to watch for and root out. You understand? Just like you're defusing a landmine before you step on that and mash yourself up. Yeah, a lot of that shit is based on what other people think of us. Yeah, fear, anxiety, do you understand? And let me say, anxiety is just you having conspiracy theories about yourself, okay? Everything is vibration, man. Do not get attached to this physical life. Do not get attached to the sensation and sensuousness where you're just looking for a next thrill, looking for a fix. A lot of people come here and they get attached. It shows you this in that same, the man who fell to earth. Just like it happened to a lot of them fallen angels. They got attached to this physical shit, man. They lowered their density. They turned to eating heavy meat diets and shit. And yo, you understand what I'm saying? We need to be vibrating a lot higher and going back to a veg diet, yeah? Not just getting trapped in this fake love and romance of the world, you understand? Because a lot of us, when we come here, we end up broken-hearted and don't understand because we haven't learnt ourselves. Whether it's through love and romance, we end up broken-hearted, both men and women, and a lot of fallen angels ended up broken, man, coming to this realm and getting attached to this physical dense shit and just stay dense, you understand? A lot of them went insane. It led to insanity. A lot of the volunteers and golden children that come here because they're misunderstood. And we're in a time now where our own community don't value us and don't protect us. They go nuts. They go insane. They go crazy. Look at young Pharaoh for an example. Do you understand? We don't protect them. We don't really want to back them. We back them to a point that when till we start being jealous of him. Oh, look, he's bought cars, he's doing this. Now we no longer want to back him. We want to make an excuse to rip down the man that we built. We drive our own people crazy with this shit. A lot of them are, people are doing stuff for likes and to hang around Mzungu billionaires and attention seeking and shit and in competition with others because all the Hollywood and the music industry, and that's what it teaches, compete with the other man. You got to have a better car than him, a better chain. You woman, you got to have a bigger ass than her. You got to have bigger tips. You got to look better than her. You got to spend all this money to just invest in this vanity. It's sensuousness. The men are doing it. The women are doing it till we're just destroyed. We really think this is us. This is our culture. Do you understand? And it's all, a lot of the time too, it's the naive ones who don't take the time to learn shit, yeah, that they're empaths and healers, yeah, and they get emotionally blackmailed and they're so susceptible to the shit because people are so ignorant of right knowledge that they're the ones that end up fucked in the system. You understand what I'm saying? 3D wars and the way that we're living in this 3D dense, overstimulated, over-sexualized fucking modern culture, that suits them. We can't beat them on that vibration. We can't escape or we can't beat them. We're just going to repeat this cycle like Groundhog Day. The ones of us that break that shit and vibrate higher than that shit to break out, we'll find each other. And we need to start doing that now. It's not about sitting on your ass at home and just watching videos and being an armchair philosopher. Like, yo, I know this, I know that. What are we doing with it? We are at war. We are dying. We are being picked the fuck off. People is starving. People don't have no prospects. You understand? Our youths are still thinking about, yo, working in the matrix, working in the system. We're still under that spell. Yeah, unless you're in 9 Eva Mind and you're dealing with the emerald formula to bring birth your God self. Remember, all these Muzungu and Arabs were looking for this thing and we don't even value it. We got Greeks, Alexander and them, they're ready to strip the whole world to look for these emerald tablets, these 4 broken pieces of the emerald tablets. We got Arabs blowing off pyramid capstones and shit looking for these emerald tablets. They know how valuable this shit is. We out here saying, oh, that shit's not real, it's fake. I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Jew. That's what we out here doing. They got us right where they want us. You say, yeah, leave them doing that, arguing about who's Muslim and who's Nubian and who's fucking Moorish and who's Hebrew. Let's leave them doing that and look for their shit and run the world with their shit. Yeah, it's time for us to go back to our own age-old teachings and put on the spiritual armor of God. You see, people like in Haiti and that, they realize that shit. Do you know how much bullshit they were being taught? But they was like, fuck this, we're going back to our voodoo and we're going to kill these fuckers. And they hung every bastard and killed the bastard till they only sent one back to Napoleon. Just tell Napoleon this is what we said. Me, Bookman, Toussaint and Dessalines, Jacques Dessalines, yeah. F you, Napoleon. At that time, he ain't never lost the war. But they had to go back to their ancestral shit, man. They never had no modern technology like me and you have now. You understand? So in the same way, we're going to have to go back to our shit. I'm not saying we have to go back to just the voodoo business, but all of that's a part of our spiritual fucking warfare. Where if they're going to bring that evil, yo, we're going to lick them with the voodoo. They going to fucking die, man. Because we've been so stimulated in this religious shit now. Oh, voodoo, oh, yo, but, yo, hell yeah. The same voodoo that was on King Tut's tomb that said, yo, if you come in here, death is going to come swift on the swift wings of horrors if you come and disturb the king. They said, oh yeah, and walked in, 30 of them fucking died. That's our spiritual armor, man. You understand? And the Muzungu's scared of it. Yeah, even though he's a natural born killer and he can fight us on this physical density, this fucking flesh war, yeah, because he's cold, he ain't got no empathy, he's got the bloodlust, yeah, we can fight him on the higher frequency. Do you understand? We can't fight him down here with his weapons of mass destruction and trickery, where he breaks all the rules, smiles in your face, shakes your hand, makes treaties and contracts, and then turns around and breaks them, and breaks galactic law and shit. So let me finish on saying, black love is the most revolutionary thing we can do as black people right now. To love one another, and to love our women, and for the women to love the men, and for us to love our mothers and fathers, and for us to love our children, and inspire this love, because we can also weaponize love. They can't deal with that frequency. That's why they're trying to build a world without no love. They're trying to encourage us not to love each other, to see a man and first think, yo, virus, let me move far away from other humans, and we'll just all be cold, and no touch, and no love or nothing. We need to weaponize love as a frequency and fling it back on them right now. And doing that by loving one another and supporting each other's businesses and supporting each other's aspirations and supporting each other's dreams, ambitions, yeah? No more dependence, man. We got to interdepend on ourselves. We got to stop it with this shit. So what if Boris is gone? Who the fuck cares? We want the whole system gone. So what if Trump is gone or Biden's? We don't care. We want that whole shit gone. We'll restructure it and build our own after. We got to reach that point. But we ain't reached that point yet. We still dependent on the system. We still dependent on their money. We still dependent on their jobs. We still dependent on their education and their graduation and their degrees for what? Where's that leading? It's leading us in a circle chasing our fucking tail. And we all out here talking about problems. Like nobody ain't smart enough to say this is what we need to be fucking doing to break this shit. Yeah, but nobody don't even want to tune in. Because I'm telling you now, people that think they're woke, 70% of them, they're not even awake. They're still in the matrix. You understand? But a lot of them can't even see that they're still in the matrix. Black love is the most revolutionary thing you can do right now in all its forms. From loving the black woman to supporting black businesses and the whole shit, to wanting your children to look like you, all of that shit. And we have to fund our own liberation. We can't be waiting on the Muzungu reparations and everybody else to fund our liberation. You got to get behind your death ray. You got to fucking fund it. You can't wait for somebody else to do it. Do you understand? You got to push him. You got to promote him. You got to promote the other people that you're fucking watching and whatever not. We got to make them a big issue. Just like Jews make their shit a big issue. They say, yo, this shit's an issue. Hitler and all that shit. You got to fucking acknowledge that shit. Every year they having shit. You understand? We got to start building our nation, man. And stop sitting back as these lame duck niggas. Like we're just some fucking, come on, bush niggas or something. Like we can't fucking make a solution to advance ourselves. Yeah. Refuse to be a part of the circus, you understand, because they're passing laws in every direction to stop us from schooling our own children and everything. They're creating these mental blocks. They're still trapping us in Christianity and politics and racism and Judaism and fucking all of this stuff, monotheism, you understand? We're going to have to understand, listen, we're going to have to design our own shit. We're going to have to give up this smart tech. A point's going to come where we're not allowed to use it because you're going to have to be plugged into the system with the carbon credits and everything else. It's really a matrix. We're going to have to give that shit up. Build our own. We're going to have to build our own. Do you understand? We're going to have to fucking say we're not participating in no digital currency or no carbon fucking credits. We're going to have to give up certain privileges and certain things that have become convenient for us. Like I said before, a lot of us can't live without some of these conveniences we've become accustomed to. We can't picture us without that phone or without the go on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat or YouTube. Because like I said, we've become consumers. We've so bought into this shit. You know right now, if you're watching, you know, yo, bastard, I'm bought into this shit, you know. Because when I really think about it, boy, I'm dependent on this fucking phone and this technology, and I haven't really thought about how I'm gonna fund my own self and fund this liberation. How do I fit into this shit? A lot of people like that, yo, man, I don't even want to say, you know. Yeah. Also, you're gonna have to let go of a lot of past shit that you did wrong in the past that you still scrutinize yourself for, that's weighing you down. You're gonna have to lighten that load. You understand? You're gonna have to face yourself and past actions and resentment and shit. And if you have to repent, repent. I'm not talking to no religious God. I'm talking about you might have to repent to the God in you, to yourself, and forgive yourself, and give yourself a hug, and embrace yourself, and lighten your fucking load, man. Because a lot of us are too dense. We got so much shit going on. Yo, we still got a grudge with our family member. Excuse me, bless me, Barakallah. 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 Yo, the temperature just dropped on me. But yeah, what I tried to say is we still got them little grudges, fall out with a friend or fall out with a family member. I don't speak to my mom, I don't speak to my dad, I'll never forgive this person until it eats us up inside and weighs us down and results in sickness, whether it's arthritis or rheumatism or fucking sciatica or cancer or dementia. So much shit people are carrying with them that it's just eating them up. Where before we didn't used to shrivel up like that on dementia and fucking Alzheimer's and all this fuck. It's so unnatural. This system, you have to get out of it. Some of us have that shit running in our families. I do. Sciatica, diabetes, rheumatism. Because my family is very religious, where they've took on so much of this matrix in the form of, I'm talking about the good and the bad, where a lot of them still hold on to the dogma sides and yo, it's fucking crazy, man. Yeah. You have to forgive yourself and embrace yourself, yeah? Hold on. The reality of time cuts in both ways, yeah? The reality of these times I'm talking about, these times that we're in, the reality of it cuts both ways. There's the goodness of it, the awakening and all that shit, and the celebration, but that don't mean there's not the bad side of it, where bastard, I've still got work to do on myself. And how do I fit into funding this liberation and funding my own and the world's liberation? You understand? Because you can't expect to get the reward, you who sat at home doing nothing but watching videos and commenting and getting in your feelings and having emotional reactions, but you never really did no other research and you never really practiced and did no practice, no, you understand? To make yourself better, to improve on yourself, whether it's in knowledge, whether it's in your conduct, whether it's in your skills, yeah? You can't expect the same reward as the man or woman who's actually walked that path and actualized that shit. You get me? The reality of these times cuts both ways, man. Yeah. And we have to understand them. These four things, fear, sensuousness, sexual desire, vanity, is killing black people. And that's how they've trapped us in this matrix, yeah? And as Tar Hotep said in his book, that we have four enemies as humans. He said it in the 5th dynasty under the pharaoh Jedkare Isisi of the 5th dynasty. We're talking circa 2450 BC. Yeah, so we're talking 4,500 years ago. 110-year-old Kemetian ancestor wrote to us, yo, we got four enemies. And he said it's greed, yeah, negligence, deafness, and obstinacy. Yeah. If you're really doing the work that you need to be doing and finding your purpose and living purpose before pleasure and putting a meaning to this shit here for yourself, you're going to have spiritual heirs, whether they're your children that come from your own loins or whether it's people that just studied your work and the things that you're doing and somebody took up the mantle after you and forwarded that and carried it on. You're going to have spiritual heirs. You understand? And in order to win this mental war of the minefield and get rid of these landmines, diffuse these landmines in your mind, you're going to have to put your will, your subjective mind, yeah, over your desire. You understand? You have to use your subjective mind, the real you, to conquer the objective mind, the animal you. And one side of you is just being, and the other side of you is becoming. So I'll finish on this. Remember, everything is the mind of the all. Remember what we said in our Illusion of Reality lives, yeah, about the all. The all is. We can't add to him or we can't take. We can't add to the all or we can't take from the all. All is, yeah. We spoke about how all creates mentally. If you haven't watched that live, the Living Library, go back to that live. Even if you have watched it, you might want to watch it again. Yeah, we all know how all creates mentally because all can't become less than himself, than itself. See, I keep saying him. These are mental paradigms, landmines I have to still get out of my head. Do you understand? So the all cannot become less than it is, yeah? And it also can't become more than it is. That means it can't just multiply like we do, like we have sex and then we make another copy of ourselves. We multiply, cells multiply. If the all multiplied, you can't have two alls because the all's already the all. You can't take from the all because there's no way to put it because all is the all. So you can't put it nowhere. Yeah, and you can't add to the all because everything's already there. So where you're gonna find something? Basically, I'm saying there's nothing outside of the all. Yeah, everything is just all is mind. The universe is mental in the mind of the all. Therefore, nothing can exist outside of the all. I'm saying this to say when you get to a certain level of thinking, not even evil exists no more. It's all balance because you got to have in the mind of the all, you got to have birth and death, meaning things are not real. Things are not eternal. So things have to have a birth and a death, and you have to have a balance, you understand? So you have growth and destruction, or birth and death, yeah? So really, all of this that's going on, no matter how bad it gets here, there's a plan to it. And as my mum always said to me from a child growing up even till now, yo, good always conquers evil. That's the law of the all, and the all is the law. So evil will never conquer good. It's impossible. Do you understand? So more time they got us worrying about minor shit because we down here vibrating on this 3D shit. And we're not trying to vibrate high enough to see, yo, all of this is just balance, you know. It has to be like this. It's polarity. We're in this fucking physical hologram illusion. Do you understand? So find the balance because we determine this from the law, the living library when we use the law of correspondence, like I just reminded you of above, so below, to figure out how the all creates. Do you understand? So therefore, there's a master plan that Anu, who is the representative of the all, yeah, is working now. Even beyond Enki and Enlil's rivalries and reptilians and demiurge, there's a master plan. All of this is inside of the all. It's not outside of the all. There's nothing for us to fear. Any anxiety you have, that's just you making conspiracy theories up about yourself. So you need to tell yourself, yo, when you're anxious, that's just me, you know, making up one of these mad conspiracy theories again about me. That shit's not real. You understand what I'm saying? So you can confirm this master plan of Anu. Yeah, the best place I'd give you to confirm it is not even in the Bible, it's actually in the Quran. If you turn to Surah Baqarah, which is Surah 2, yeah, verse 255, it's called Ayatul Kursi, which is the verse of the throne, yeah? And it will remind you of what I just told you about there's a master plan. And if you really tune into the and align with the all, yeah, and Mother Nature, yeah, Father Time, yo, you won't fear nothing. You'll be present. And people that are present don't fear because they're not projected in the past, stuck in the past, and they're not projecting themselves in the future. That's where anxiety is bred. If you bring yourself present and remind yourself of this master plan and how even evil is just balance and it can never win because good always conquers evil, you take away that anxiety. Nobody will be able to doomsday you and doom and gloom you to make you feel, oh God, You understand? I talk about this shit with my daughter because the way that I speak about it with her, to show her that there's nothing for us to fear. We are children of the All. We are children of the Most High. It's comfortable for us to talk about this stuff. Yeah, and the nature of progress, remember this, the nature of progress requires sacrifice, change, acceptance. If you want to progress, you're going to have to put some sacrifice in the equation. You're going to have to change. That's why a lot of people don't want to practice this shit. They just want to watch videos and make comments and put likes because there's a sacrifice aspect to it. It's not for free. You're going to have to give up some shit. You're going to have to give your attention first and pay real attention. You understand? And you're going to have to accept pain and progress is the same. Pain is progress because we are both the sculptor and the stone at the same time. When we're trying to perfect ourselves and empower ourselves, we have to sculpt away a whole bunch of bullshit. And there's a lot of pain involved in that. You understand? When you go to, what do you call it again? When you're doing the shadow work, it's not a bed of roses. It's not for the faint-hearted. So when I tell you every one of these videos on my page right now or on all my platforms, all my books, all my songs, all my lives, words to you, whatever, examples, that's the bricks that I'm using to build a spiritual temple around me. So that when the Anunnaki see me, they see first the spiritual temple around me. Maybe by that time I've got 1,000 bricks. I'm in a temple that I move with this kingdom. Wherever I go, I'm in a temple surrounded in this Merkaba energy of these bricks that I paid attention to construct the temple of Anu around me, and I dwell in that temple. So a meteor shower could come here, whatever calamity, I don't fear none of it. I'm surrounded in my own energy, and I believe in that shit. That's the placebo or spell I put on myself. Do you understand? So make sure you're building a spiritual temple around you in the name of the Most High, yeah? And make sure that your works, yeah, speak for you. The same way I say, my works speak for me. I don't have to speak for these lives that I'm doing, the books that I'm writing, the music that I'm doing. That shit bricks, it speaks for itself, yeah? Find yourself and be that. Be what you were created to be. Go and be great. Fuck all of this physical war, dense bullshit and all this doomsday shit. And I just wanted to say that. I was supposed to do a live about jungle fever, about the people who were interracial, but I wanted to save that because I wanted to add to it. So I hope this live, this brick here, helps you in your building of your spiritual temple around you. Let me just see what Chanel said. The word spell-ish. I'm going to teach my girls about the one right there, independence. Yeah, greetings, Chanel, man. I'm glad that you tuned in. And I'm glad for anyone who tuned in and watched. Listen, guys, I'm going to get going. But I remind you, this is my recommended read, yeah? The Tutankhamun Prophecies, Maurice Cotterill, yeah? Like I said, I vouch for this book here, man. These books gave me so much. If you can get your hands on it, it's a real good read, and it'll collect a lot of dots for you in terms of how King Tut connects to the Aztecs and the Mayan prophecies, and how everything's kind of like the prophecies cross over and stuff, like I said to before. I'll put my all my tags in the comments for anyone who wants to do that. Before you go, I'm going to run you a tune, you guys. I'm going to start doing that. Instead of just turning off, I'll run a tune for guys, yeah? Like I did at the start. Hold on, guys. Let's go. But yeah, like I said, if you didn't tune in from the start, there may be some jewels at the start that you might want to get, and it will make the live make a bit more sense. Do you get me?
Maximum volume.
But yeah, I'm gonna get going.
Low battery.
Around the galaxy, spitting history books like motherfucking Gaia tapestry, conquering them demons in yourself. It take a mastery. Told them I young God, they looking at me like it's blasphemy. Let me take you on a trip around the galaxy, spitting history books like motherfucking Gaia tapestry, conquering them demons in yourself. It take a mastery. Told them I young God, they looking at me like it's blasphemy. Peace and the transmission. Live long, live strong.
Low battery.